From Lagos, the nation's commercial capital, this is the news at 10, live from Channels Television. Reported tonight,
Ijoma Oyato.
Hello and welcome. Tonight, President Jonathan reviews country security situation with service chiefs. UN ECOWAS agree to assist Nigeria fight insurgents in the northeast. National Conference resumes plenary, receives reports from 12 out of 20 standing committees. And security concerns in Libya heighten as Saudi Arabia others close embassy in Tripoli.
On Business News Tonight, Africa Development Bank reveals growth on the continent is set to accelerate to 4.8% on the average in 2014.
And on Sports News Tonight, English Premier League side Manchester United appoints new manager Louis van Gaal on a 3-year deal.
The solution to the security challenge in the northeast is still the focus of the presidency, going by yet another crucial meeting with security chiefs today at the presidential villa. The president echoed the resolution of African presidents to work together to curb the menace of Boko Haram. Also present at the meeting was the president's advisor on security, Lieutenant General Aliyu Gusau. The meeting, which held at the presidential villa Abuja, is the first after Saturday's regional security meeting hosted by French President François Hollande at Élysée Palace in Paris, France. It was agreed at that meeting that all West African countries will share intelligence, and they also declared war on Boko Haram. Now, apart from reviewing the security situation in the country, they may also have touched on ongoing efforts to rescue over 200 secondary school girls abducted in Chibok, Borno State, over a month ago. And the sub-regional body ECOWAS has also joined in the search for a solution to the problem of insurgency in Nigeria. Rising from a parliamentary meeting in Abuja today, the body resolved to assist Nigeria in the ongoing fight against terror. Our correspondent Omologo Nadi reports.
It was the 2014 ordinary session of the third legislature of the ECOWAS Parliament convened to consider and adopt the draft agenda and activity plan of the Parliament towards tackling and resolving issues affecting the growth and development of the sub-region. As expected, top on the agenda of the Parliament is security, and the case in point, the abduction of the Chibok girls and the threat of Boko Haram insurgency to growth and development of the sub-region.
This is the height of cowardice and depravity, to take unarmed young women into forced custody. No doubt, the Boko Haram has, by this affront, declared total war, not only on Nigeria, but also the West African sub-region, and indeed humanity, irrespective of tribe, religion, and political persuasion. We therefore commend the rising global concern and solidarity to bring back our girls and flush out the insurgents.
Any destabilization of Nigeria would be a destabilization of our entire sub-region. Unless we are able to overcome Boko Haram and its ideology of criminalizing the rightful quest for education, the future of our sub-region can be badly affected.
But fighting this war against terrorists in the region, parliamentarians say, can only be successful with a strong integration and coordination among countries in the sub-region.
The challenge of a more inclusive, peaceful, and integrated region requires greater coordinated measures to particularly combat these new threats constituted by terrorism and organized crime.
The very political and representational foundation which leads us together here today is being threatened by a broadening arc of insecurity from the north to Central Africa. Because of the multifaceted and polyvalent nature of the threat, we as a sub-regional institution must lead in focusing international assistance towards preferring rational solutions to overcome these challenges.
An attack on one is an attack on all. That is what these parliamentarians in the sub-region have said, and winning this fight against insurgency in Nigeria is winning a crucial fight against insecurity in the sub-region. Omelogo Nadi, Channels Television News.
Meanwhile, the UN Women have condemned the abduction of the Chibok girls. At a meeting with the Minister of Women Affairs and Social Development in Abuja, the UN Women Executive Director appealed to the government and military authorities to facilitate the release of the girls. She also promised the UN support for the provision of trauma counseling and the reintegration of the girls upon their release.
Just like the Minister, to condemn in the strongest possible term the violation of the rights of girl children and women, and anything that interferes with their rights to education. It is also a visit to further call for their safe and speedy return, and to support the government and encourage them to do everything possible to bring the girls back. At the United Nations, through the leadership of the Secretary General, we have also been reaching out to the international community to urge them to support the people and the government of Nigeria. We have also been in support of the cause of civil society and mobilizing many people of the world to keep the girls in their hearts and in their minds, as well as the media to continue to keep the story alive, so that we isolate the insurgents, and we make sure that we demonstrate that the majority of the people in the world believe in the girls' rights, believe in education, believe in ensuring that our communities are safe. Also to support the parents with trauma counseling, as well as ensuring that when the girls come, we are also able to join the government to support them, to help them to reintegrate, to make sure that their education career is resumed, and also, more than anything else, to make sure that the education system of Nigeria is not compromised, that the parents and the girls are not forced to choose between being alive and getting an education.
Meantime, the Nigerian women behind the Chibok girls' protest are not backing down as they resume their call on the authorities to speed up action on the release of the students. The leaders of the group insist there is no plan to return to their various homes until the schoolgirls are reunited with their families.
That sounds as close enough to what the women were saying.
If you want them to be here, if you want them to be any part of this community, they
put surveillance and rescue efforts
out to communities around the FCT areas, so that people come out en masse to show that the whole of Nigeria is supporting Bring Back Our Girls campaign. So we are going to markets, we are going to motor parks, we are going to places where those who do not interact on Twitter and on email are available, and giving them directly that message that they should come out and join us in solidarity, for the simple reason that Nigerians are all saying we must save these girls, we must bring them back to their families and loved ones. This is a collective responsibility of all citizens of this country. It is a direct responsibility of the government of this country. It is a direct responsibility of our armed forces and security agencies. That's the message we are preparing for Thursday, and we are quite happy that so many of our members are offering to go out to communities, reach out to them, and invite them to come and join us.
Now, the Chibok girls' story has continued to attract national and international condemnation, with a group of women under the aegis of Sisters Circle Nigeria taking to the streets of Owerri, the Imo State capital, to condemn the act. Dressed in red and black attire, the group is calling on the federal government to intensify efforts to rescue the girls. Their leader, Chris Anyao, challenged Nigerians to support the government in ensuring that the girls are returned safely.
Indefinitely without doing something. Now is the time for Nigerians to rise and act on whatever, wherever they may be.
Now, the Director of Defense Information, Major General Chris Olukolade, says efforts are being intensified towards ensuring that the Chibok girls are rescued alive. He told journalists in Abuja that aircraft belonging to some allied forces are already stationed in some West African countries with the aim of supporting the Nigerian Air Force in the rescue operations. Now, the coordinator of the National Crisis Information Management Center and the Director General of the National Orientation Agency, Mr. Mike Omeri, also said that the international coalition against Boko Haram is part of efforts by the federal government to tackle insecurity.
When discussion, when collaboration, and we're exchanging notes on various issues. But at the moment, you must know that for aircraft to take off, we don't. The immense surveillance that is ongoing has been done by the Nigerian Air Force. So that's satisfying. But that does not rule out the fact that, for instance, and I'm saying for instance, again, for instance, the American forces have their aircrafts in neighboring countries. Are you aware of that? So that will give you a message. If they are needed for this operation, when we have sorted out issues, we will let you know. I reaffirm to you that as we sit here, patrols are ongoing in the entire Northeast with special focus around where we believe we need to secure our girls. Active patrols are going on air and on land.
The threat of Boko Haram is not just a Nigerian problem, but has become a regional challenge. Accordingly, Mr. President reiterates his commitment to providing total security for Nigerians, irrespective of their circumstances of birth or living. Another attempted attack was forwarded early this morning by members of the security forces, also in Kano.
In part 2, after the break, 57th World Health Assembly in Switzerland considers climate change, polio and other global health challenges. That's in a moment. To join us again.